Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to the pre-show on Geek Smack. And yeah, I don't know, there's been some changes here at Geekazine and Geek Smack, and I think it's very obvious what these changes are. And I got a brand new shirt. So what do you think? Do you like the shirt? Is it nice? Does it work for you? Does it work for all of you out there? Let me know, and we'll go from there. Hey, everybody, Jeffrey Powers here. I'm just adjusting a camera here really quick. How you doing? Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to the show that we call Geek Smackety Smack Smacka Smack Smacka 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 Smacka. Of course, we've got the live stream going on right now over at youtube.com/Geekazine. Of course, we do this every single Tuesday for Wednesday consumption. And of course, the pre-show is kind of like the little vlog before the show. It's the calm before the storm, and then the storm is the show, and then the calm is this right here, and where I can kind of sit back and relax and go, "How you doing? How you doing? Is everything okay for you? Is your week been great? It was been Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend's over, and now everybody's got to go back to school. In fact, the weirdest thing is I woke up this morning. And yesterday it was Labor Day, and I was like going, I don't see many people just sitting there going Happy Labor Day like they normally do on Facebook. Merry Christmas, Happy Easter, Happy Labor Day. You get like 5,000 of them. And you go, okay, everybody said Happy Labor Day. That's all well and good. We don't send cards anymore. That's understandable. But yesterday, nothing. I don't even think I saw one. Today, I woke up to my Facebook stream saying, "Oh, my kid's going to school. My kid's going to school. Here's a picture of my kid going to school and off to school. And my kid's going to school and off to school. And we're off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz." And, I was really, I was going, well, okay, so they basically saved it all up for today. And so and it's really cool. Don't get me wrong. I really like the fact that I see all my friends have kids and complain about how they're going to school, or even worse, how they're going to college. Oh my God, my kid's a teen now. Oh my God, I'm going to college. In fact, myself and Jennifer, we live in a college town in Madison, Wisconsin. And of course, all the college students were moving back this last week. And Jennifer, I kind of turned to Jennifer and go, I'm at this point where, I could probably be sending one of my kids off to college if I had a kid at the age of 18, 19. And she goes, yeah, all these kids could have been yours. And it's like, yeah, that's very true. So we watched the kids move in, and it was a very interesting time. It's always an interesting time, interesting weekend here in Madison, Wisconsin, simply because there's a lot of events. It's the end of the summer. Usually after this, the weather starts to change. Of course, I'm already seeing some of the trees change their colors, leaves colors, and now we're gonna get ready for fall. So it means raking the yard. It means wearing pants again. I don't know. So, but just having a fun and fall, and just kind of getting ready for winter like you normally do. Speaking of which, last week we didn't have a show, and I didn't mention why. Last week I actually was doing a contract job. And with that contract job, I had to be there for that. And I just noticed something that's kind of interesting. I'm gonna have to change that. So anyway, I was on a one-day contract, and so I didn't have time to do the show. I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just do the show early Wednesday or something like that. And I had a couple other fires go through that kind of made that not happen. So we didn't have a show last week. Sorry about that. But of course, we're making it up with a show this week. Next week, there is a possibility I might be out of town again, so we'll see what happens, and I'll let you know. Of course, if you see the live show come up, you'll know, hey, there's a live show going on at Geek Smack. A couple people have said, hey, now that you've taken care of the beard, the logo that you normally use, is that going to go away or change or whatnot? And you're probably going, well, what are you talking about? The one thing that missing. If you didn't see the video over at youtube.com, you can watch as I cut off my epic beard. 3 years in the making. 3 years ago, I started growing the beard out for a promotion that didn't happen. And the whole idea was I was going to paint it pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I should have done it. I should have just did it and been done with it. So, and maybe I'll do it this October. I mean, it's possible. Maybe I'll have a pink beard this October. You never know. So, so then I just, I started growing it out. I said, hey, not too many social media guys out there have long beards. There's just a couple people I know. But that'd be kind of fun to see how long I've got it. And it's not the first time I've grown out my beard like that. And so it got to the point where it was last week. I was just looking at the beard and I go, it's going to be a lot of maintenance, and is it really showing the image correctly? And are people looking at this image and going, hey, this is cool, I wanted it, or they go, hey, it doesn't look too cool. And I got a couple people that said, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I'm thinking to myself, even if one person said that they didn't like it, then that's probably a good indication that I should change things up just a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I used to walk down the street and people go, yeah, nice beard. And of course, all the ladies would want to go, can I braid it? And so it worked in some aspects, but in other aspects, I was thinking to myself, if I had even one person not watch my show because I have a long beard, then maybe it's time to change things up. And of course, Jennifer loves the fact that I don't have that long beard getting in the way of everything. I was even to the point where I was waking up in the middle of the night and I was pulling on my beard. The beard would actually be underneath my arm, and I would just I'd turn my head or something like that. It's like, ow. And Jennifer goes, what happened? Did I elbow you or something? I goes, no, I had my beard underneath my arm. Not too many people can say that they've done that. So, the beard, the bottom line is, as you can see, I shaved it all off because, first of all, I started back with the goatee. And Jennifer goes, I've never seen you clean shaven. That's like, yeah, I did it 90% of the way. I might as well go and shave the rest of it. So I did. I took it all off and gave her a clean face for a couple days just to show what it was like. And now it's time to grow it all back. So as you can see, a little bit of the beginnings of the beard are coming back. It's not going to get that long. It's not going to be a 3-year beard for a while. It will be a little bit thicker than most people's beards because that's the way I do like it. But it'll look really presentable, I think, and I hope you like it. But of course, if you have any questions, you have any comments on that, should I grow a thick beard? Should I grow back 3-year beard? Let me know. You can Twitter me over at Geekazine, of course, geekazine@gmail.com. Some of the other stuff that's been happening, I declared, let's see what else we got. Of course, after the beard, of course, Day in Tech History. Oh, that's right. Day in Tech History suffered a brute force attack over the week. Somebody tried to log into Day in Tech History over 525,000 times. 525,000 times in a 24-hour period. Of course, the first thing I do on all my WordPress installations is once I log in as admin for the first time, I create a new administrator account and I delete the admin account. And I just do that every single time that I have a new account, a new WordPress instance. And the reason why is just that. As I was looking at the logs, it kept 525,000 times. It would either try to log in with a username of admin or administrator or Day in Tech Hist or Day in Tech History. So they had no idea what the actual username is, and most people do not know what the username is. Some people think it's it might be even my login, but it's not. The admin username stays completely oblivious or anonymous, and I keep it that way just for that. So the only problem is I'm going to have some big stats when I take a look at my numbers for traffic, and that's probably going to be why. And but I do have plugins that keep these people out. Even if they did guess the right password, it will still deny them, and that's the cool thing about that plugin. And then I actually had to install another security plugin because the first one's really nice, but it needs to have extra security after somebody's trying after about, let's say after about 2,000-3,000 attempts, I need to have another level of security show up, like maybe a CAPTCHA or something like that. So I actually had a denial page pop up. So if somebody tries to log in, let's say 60 times, then it actually, for about an hour, it says that the site is down. And then it comes back up, and then they try and do it again. If they do that 3 or 4 times, then the site is down in that IP range for 24 hours. And it's usually like 0 to 24. It's like number dot number dot number dot 0 to 24. So, and a lot of these IP addresses that I was getting attacked with, I looked them up, and they said that they were known attacking IP addresses. So, and I didn't want to block them, but I finally, when I put on that second level of security, all of a sudden the email stopped, and I was really happy about that. So, but anyway, 525,000 times, they're probably even trying again and again and again, and it's probably just not hitting anything that'll send me an email just yet. So, but you're not going to get in with admin, that's for sure. Anyway, let's move on. Of course, Labor Day, like I said, I spent the weekend playing with the band. We played Saturday night, we played Sunday afternoon, some great crowds, great bachelorette party that showed up. It was awesome, and we had a lot of fun, and so I'm glad we got to play outside a couple more times and had a lot of fun with that. So if you're in the Wisconsin area, TrailerKings.com is the name of the band. You can check that out. So, all right, I think that's it for the long vlog. Like I said, it was last week was the 1-day contract. Some other things, like I said, all the leaves are changing. It's time for fall. So, all right, here's what's going to happen now. We're going to switch into show mode here. The pre-show is now done. The little vloggy area where what's going on here. Today we're gonna talk about Yahoo and how Yahoo is actually making some changes and kind of getting out of China. And there's reasons why. And this is not a new thing, but something happened last night where they pulled out all the news and community services. They closed the email. It all gets officially closed December of 2014, but everything is going bye-bye for Yahoo, and we'll talk about that. And of course, we got a lot of other great news. It's a slower news week simply because we had a holiday in between, but we'll get that going, and of course, we'll get you some show notes so you can enjoy the rest of the show. So, what is going to happen is going to go to the Geek Smack screen, and then I'm going to hit record. We're going to come back, and then we're going to have the show. So stick around. Geek Smack, episode number 272. We'll be right back. Yahoo is pulling out of China. They're gone. They're out of here. They don't want to deal with China anymore. I don't know. And then, of course, Microsoft buys Nokia. It's like, what's up with that? They need their own phone. I suppose Google has their own phone. Microsoft needs their own phone. We've got that. We've got Western Digital upgrading all their hard drives and a whole bunch more. We got a lot of stuff. It is episode number 272 of Geek Smack, where we smack the geek out of you. It is Tuesday. My name is Jeffrey Powers, and we are brought to you this week by Wirecast, by GoDaddy, by Day in Tech History, and then, of course, Roku, where you can get all this content right on your TV, just like that. And, of course, we got the audio version over at Stitcher and iTunes. Let's get started for this week's Geek Smack. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to the show we call Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you from right to left. Right to left. And you might be noticing something completely different on the show. I made a very major change, and it was a big change, which is why you're probably noticing it. I got a brand new shirt. So, what do you think? Orange? Orange is the new Jeff? Anyway, welcome to the show where we now don't have a beard. My name is Jeffrey Powers. If this is the first time that you've come to the show, you missed Epic Beard. Simple as that. You're going to have to check the other episodes out to find out what I did. But yeah, I talked about it on the pre-show over at youtube.com/Geekazine. You'll see the live show where I go into the 12-minute vlog, talk about everything that happened. I give you the Cliff Note version of it here. And basically, first of all, I shaved off the beard. I talk about that on the vlog. Labor Day weekend, the band played on Saturday and Sunday. It was a very fun weekend. Very tiring on Monday, but I got to relax on Monday, and it was pretty cool. Day in Tech History suffered a brute force attack. 525,000 logon attempts were made to a login that they just couldn't get into. And then, of course, there was no show last week because I was on a one-day contract, and I just didn't get around to getting the show. I had too much other obligations to take care of. And so no show last week. But this week we have a show. Next week there's a possibility that I might not be doing a show. It depends on if I have to travel out of town. But yeah, I'll let you know. And of course, you just watch youtube.com/Geekazine. Of course, my Twitter handle, Geekazine, right there, at Geekazine. Email is geekazine@gmail.com and 608-205-4378. Just think magazine, put in a geek. Think magazine, put in a geek. You got Geekazine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, let's get into your Tech Smack for the week. All right, and of course, the Tech Smack is brought to you by our friends over at GoDaddy.com. You know, I was in a conversation with somebody that said, "Oh, I'm over on this domain hosting company," and they said, "Oh, you can't do multi-site WordPress multi-site on our domain on our system. It's against the terms of service." And it's like, I never saw that on the terms of service on GoDaddy, and Geekazine is a WordPress multi-site. And actually, it's better for Geekazine to be a multi-site than to be separate instances because you don't have multiple databases. You don't have 3-4 times. If you have like 3 websites, one multi-site is, or three. You can have 3 sites, and that's 3 times the size of one multi-site. It actually works better for the host than against the host, as long as they have all the little bells and whistles put in, and you have all the security, and you can do subdomains. Then you should be able to do that without a problem over on GoDaddy. They have hosting, they have domains, they have SSL certificates, they have whatever you need in the hosting realm. Whether it be a shared hosting system, whether it be a dedicated server, what you need is what they have, and that's over at GoDaddy.com. You can get 35% off your order if you decide, I want to get a domain, I want to start my website experience, get it going. By using that code WOWAZINE, WOWAZINE, think magazine, put in a wow, you've got WOWAZINE. And of course, that helps me keep the lights on here. And that's over at GoDaddy.com, and I'd like to thank GoDaddy for being a sponsor of Geek Smack. All right, let's get into your Tech Smack for this week. We're going to start over at All Things D. The big word, of course, this came across the wire last night. No Labor Day for these guys. Microsoft has decided to buy Nokia's device business, a deal worth $7.17 billion. It's like 5 billion or 3.79 billion euros in spending, and then another 1.65 billion to license Nokia's patent portfolio. It's all about the patents. If you haven't figured that out by now, I'm telling you, it's all about the patents. It's simple as that. If I make a patent on podcasting, something to do with podcasting, I patent it. Anybody uses it, they've got to come to me for the licensing. If I have a license and they make something that makes $1 billion, I'm going to get some change from that $1 billion. That's pretty cool. So that's why you have companies like Microsoft, like Google, like HP, like IBM, Lenovo, that collect patents. And once they collect a patent, they want to keep the patent. It's very important. Sometimes they do sell it. We had a sell-off about a year or two ago of some important phone patents. And you never know when a patent is going to be needed to litigate for a phone. And that's what's been happening with Samsung and Apple. Is Samsung's been suing Apple over patents, and Apple's been suing Samsung over patents for this last year. So the bottom line is patent. It's all about the patents. So Microsoft making this deal, $7.17 billion. I don't think it's been finalized yet. It still has to go through the FCC and make sure it's not part of the monopolistic process and blah, 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 blah. Once it gets all approved by the regulators, then they get together. Of course, the same. It's just like with Google and Motorola Mobility. About a year ago, they ended up having to sell some of Motorola Mobility to make it okay to come together. Same thing here. Nokia is still going to be around. It's just that the hardware or their what do they call their device business is going to be part of Microsoft. Now, with that, they also gain another a whole bunch of high executives, including one in particular, the CEO Elap. His first name, I'm forgetting his first name already. I remember his last name. That was easy. Elap is a good candidate for CEO, the next CEO of Microsoft. Now, I have not read up on him too much, so we'll see what happens as that. But right now, Elap is stepping aside as Nokia CEO for Executive VP of Devices and Services, and Chairman Risto Silazonman will serve as interim CEO of Nokia itself. So, big news coming out of Microsoft. That's what's happening. If you want to read more on that, that's over at All Things Digital or allthingsd.com. Now, I have a couple friends at Nokia, and I did throw out some feelers and say, hey, what'd you think of this announcement? Did you know it was coming down the pipe or whatnot? And I haven't heard back from them yet, but once I know, I will let you know. But what do you think? Is this, Nokia has been making Windows phones. It just makes sense to put it all together. I have my Nokia over there when my iPhone got stolen. So, and of course the new Nokias, they look kind of impressive. I can't wait to see what they bring to the table when I get a review, and go from there. So, but what do you think? Do you think this is a great idea? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. All right, let's move on from there. We're going over to Engadget. Apparently, if you lived in New York, if you lived in Texas, if you lived in, there were 2 other cities, CBS, they had a big to-do where CBS and Time Warner were fighting back and forth. They were going, come on, put them up, put them up. I was doing this. Put them up, put them up. Anyway. So after about a month of blackout, programming resumes at 6 p.m. Eastern today, this afternoon. If you're watching live, then you can get ready for it. Of course, if you're watching tomorrow or listening tomorrow on the drive to work or something like that, it's already on. So if you're in the New York area, you can watch CBS. And of course, CBS is more than just CBS. I think it's like all the Viacom, I think CBS is part of. So you get back all your channels, and then you'll be able to do that. Los Angeles, New York, and Dallas were the ones. Of course, Time Warner's in Milwaukee, not in Madison. We've got Charter. So I don't think that CBS was affected in the Milwaukee area. So, but if you want to read more on this, we got the link over at Engadget.com. Excuse me. Let's move on from here. Now, I talked about day in tech history. And I talk about it in length on the vlog, but on the live show. But basically, I had a brute force attack for the day in tech history. Over 525,000 logins. And this is not an uncommon thing for any of my websites to happen. Geekazine's gone through it. Day in Tech History's gone through it. How to Record Podcasts will probably go through it. At one point in time, somebody's going to try and figure out how to get into your networks. So that's why having great passwords is a good deterrent. It's not a perfect deterrent, as this next article talks about. And this is over on the Daily Dot. This is a brand new website for me. So once again, if you see any issues, let me know, and we'll kind of put it somewhere else. But basically, there's a new version, an updated version of this password tool that lets you go up to 55 characters. 50. So if you had a password 55 characters long, they could actually try and crack it. It'll take them forever to do, but with faster computers and more processing power, somebody could put together a system that could hack into something within maybe 6 months to a year. So the improvement runs 8 million guesses per second, while allowing users to cut down the number of guesses required by shaping the attacks based on password construction protocol. So when I worked for the Department of Corrections, we had a very long password, and that password had to include 2 uppercase letters, 2 lowercase letters, 2 symbols like a $ or an ampersand or something like that, and of course 2 numbers. And you couldn't do less than 12 characters. So now it could be up to 20 characters or more. And that's why we're getting away from physical passwords like that to something more biometric, like, for instance, a finger swipe or an eye scan or something like that to know that you're you instead of asking you a password. So we're not there quite yet, but we're figuring out how to do it. And of course, like the rumor of the next iPhone having some sort of a finger swipe technology on it. Just a rumor. I don't think it's going to happen. The big rumor right now that they're talking about is the 5C and the different colors that the 5C comes in. Nobody's talked about that finger swipe, and I don't think it's going to be ready for that. But if you want to read more on that, go over to thedailydot.com, thedailydot.com. And of course, we've got the link in the show notes. Just go to geekazine.com, look for cracking software, boom, you got it. You're right there. You're all set to go and everything to go. Anyway, last part of part 1, the Tech Smack, we're going to talk about a little bit about Facebook and their flaw. Oh, no, this isn't the last part of part 1. Excuse me. I got some more here. I didn't load them all up just yet. Anyway, Facebook having a hacker. There was apparently some hacker that found a way that you could actually delete posted photos. And the security researcher then went to Facebook and said, "Hey, you got a big security problem here." And they said, "Oh yeah, we better fix it." So it's fixed. And they said, "Well, hey, thanks for doing that. Here's $12,500 for you." So, if you ever had photos that just disappeared from Facebook, that might have been the reason why. The problem's been fixed. You can now repost those photos if you want. If you don't want, then hey, that's all well and good too. But if you want to read more on that, go over to cnet.com. We do have a couple more articles in this first part, and then we'll get you into the second part. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Yahoo and China. Yahoo's leaving China, and we're talking about why, and we'll do that a little bit later. But first of all, Western Digital is expanding. They're updating. This is mostly for IT professionals. NAS routers, SATA. They've got a new thing called hard drives that are called the Red line, I believe it is, where you get 1 terabyte Red model for $99, $79 for a 2.5-inch 750 gig model, and they're powered by NASware 2.0 technology. And the reason for that technology is it improves the reliability and protection of customer data in the event of a power loss or disruption. So these are meant for servers. So you can go up to your IT guy if you're not an IT guy and go, "Hey, have you heard about those Western Digital Red Lines drives and how they implement that NASware 2.0 in there?" So if you want to read more on that, go over to eweek.com. Show your IT person that you care about them. Simple as that. And of course, if you are an IT person, what do you think? Is this an improvement or not so much of an improvement? Let me know. Twitter me at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. All right. Well, apparently Amazon took a whole bunch of Kindle stuff off the network, and everybody goes, "Oh, there's a Kindle coming. There's a new Kindle coming." And of course, we know new Kindle's coming. It's getting towards the end of the year. Christmas is coming up. Perfect time to unveil all these cool new products. IFA is happening in full swing. So we're going to get a whole bunch of new products coming left and right. And then, of course, you're going to get a new Kindle. And apparently they leaked this out, and it's called the Kindle Paperwhite. And it looks pretty cool. For those of you who want a Kindle that's an actual reader, rather than a Kindle that can play Angry Birds or any other games or stuff like that. So that's been leaked out to the interwebs, and in an event on September 30th of this year, so at the end of the month, they will be talking about the new updated Kindles. Expect the Paperwhite, and I'm expecting another Kindle that will replace the Kindle Fire, which is why the Kindle Fire is actually at $159 right now. They've got some good deep discounts if you're looking for a Kindle. But then again, you might want to wait for the next generation because it's coming very, very soon. All right, and that does it for this end of part one, the Tech Smack version. We hope we smacked the tech out of you. If you have any questions, you can Twitter me at Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek, boop, right there like a sandwich. And then, of course, geekazine@gmail.com. The hotline being 608-205-4378. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about Yahoo. We're going to talk about China. We're talking about how they go, we don't want to talk to you anymore. And Yahoo leaves China. Just like that. If you're listening, you're not seeing what I'm doing, but that's okay. We're going to talk about that. But first, let's get into your Geek Smack for this week. We will be right back on Geek Schmuck. And of course, this week's Geek Smack is brought to you by, of course, Day in Tech History, my other website. I was talking about how it got attacked, brute force attack, 525,000 attempted logins. But on Tuesday, September 3rd, eBay, back in 1995, eBay was first founded as Auction Web. And the first thing that they actually sold on eBay was a laser pointer. A broken laser pointer, nonetheless. And it said in the description, hey, this laser pointer is broken. And it was just a test to see if the site was working. And it was working. So they said, hey, let's continue on. They created Auction Web. And then eBay saw it's like, hey, we should probably buy that out and turn it into eBay and do that. And next thing you know, it's eBay. And that's what happens. That's what you find in the Day in Tech History daily podcast, full rundown of technology history from day one to day today. Anyway, so if you want to check it out, go over to dayintechhistory.com. All right, let's move on from there. Let's get into your geek news for the week. We're going back over to the Daily Dot. They had a couple good articles, and of course, it was a slow week since yesterday was Labor Day. Reddit apparently has Reddit's r-news. If you ever go to Reddit, you go to reddit.com, and then you have these subcategories. And it's usually /r/ whatever the subcategory is. Like, for instance, Geekazine would be /r/Geekazine. Well, /r/news is a very popular site for a lot of Redditors. And they decided, okay, RT, which is a Russian website that talks news, they're basically going to take it out of Reddit's reading list because too much spam. Too many click-throughs that bring the stories up. They're gaming the system. This was apparently something that was talked about for a long time by the moderators, simply because of the fact that RT.com actually has content that is a lot better than a lot of the other websites out there. So they basically kept going inside of Reddit for this long simply because of the fact they had great content. But at one point, they said the moderators just said, it's just two outweighs the other too much, and it's time to just kind of nix it out. Now they asked everybody, what should we get rid of? Should we ban Huffington Post? Should we ban The Verge? Should we ban USA Today? They gave them a whole bunch of options. And so I guess RT.com got the nix because of those and many other reasons why. So that's what happened. If you want to read more on that, go over to thedaily.com. Thedaily.com. I don't know. Anyway, check that out over there. We're going to move over to PCMag.com. IFA, I talked about IFA. Of course, this is kind of like the CES of Europe. And a lot of tech happens at this point because, like I said, Christmas is coming up. So it's a good idea to actually have consumer products that are coming out announced in the next couple weeks, because you're sitting there going, what should I buy the kids for Christmas? What should I buy the hubby for Christmas, or the wife for Christmas, or whatever? Cool, a smartwatch. Cool, a new phone, or new wearable technology. And that was the big thing, is wearable technology that is expected at IFA. Lots of smartphones. One smartphone, I believe that it is not Sony, but I believe LG is coming out with what's called a 4K smartphone, which this display screen will be 4K video resolution. And most screens are now 1080 by 720, which is 1080p resolution. The iPad Retina screen is just less than 4,000 pixels. So 4,000 pixels is going to pretty much beat out the iPad Retina display. So that's going to be pretty cool. Other new technology, we're talking apps, we're talking other programs, and then, of course, technology out there. Wearable technology, there's going to be a couple companies that are going to show off their Google Glass competitors. There's going to be people that, Samsung, a big thing coming out from Samsung tomorrow, Wednesday at about noon, where they're going to probably debut their version of their smartwatch, their wearable technology watch, and so you can check that out there. So a lot of stuff. They've got about 11 products here on this page over at PCMag.com that will tell you what to expect from IFA. Of course, there's always going to be the surprise. It's like CES. You walk around and it's like, hey, there's a happy fork. What's a happy fork? A happy fork will help you learn how to eat. Well, that's pretty cool. It's not like a regular fork. I haven't heard about it until just now. So let's talk about Happy Fork. And that was one of the big things that came out of CES was Happy Fork. Same thing here. You're going to find somebody that's just going to completely explode. And then, of course, we'll talk about it next week when everything happens. Speaking of next week, if I do not go to travel, I will be here. We'll probably do a delayed version of Geek Smack because the Apple event will be happening. I believe that's on September 10th, which is next week, next Tuesday, or is it Wednesday? I'd have to check. What is that? Let me see that really quick. Yeah, that's Tuesday. So we're gonna I'll probably set up something. We'll probably have the live show over at youtube.com/Geekazine, where we're talking nothing about the Apple event. And then, of course, I'll go into the show after that. So check that out. Check this article out over at PCMag.com. All right. 11 shocking Google Earth before and after photos. Now, we've had some pretty interesting events happen to us in the last few years. Like, for instance, the big hurricanes in Louisiana. Of course, the big hurricane last year in New York took out a whole amusement park. Lots of other things. So basically, what they're doing is there's over on Mashable, they're showing you before and after photos. I'm going to show you one really quick here. This is apparently in Dubai, and there's the left side and the right side. The left side's the old version of Dubai, and the right side is the new version. And all of a sudden, they got more land to deal with. And of course, there's something happened with their coastline. So I didn't know that happened in Dubai, but apparently it did. So there's a lot of things like that. Like I said, they're even going to show you a couple pictures. Like, for instance, a picture of New York City before when the Twin Towers were around, and then afterwards, after September 11th, 2001, and how that's changed. And there's some big changes there. Of course, many other areas that were hit by devastation, Japan being one of them, like I said, Louisiana. If you want to check it all out, all the pictures are up on Mashable.com. We're going to have a link in the show notes so you can get to them and say, hey, that's pretty cool. But what do you think? Does that shape? How does that work with you? Does that blow your mind on those pictures? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. All right, Spotify has said that you can now play music from any device. They're basically freeing you from the device that you listen to. They call it Spotify Connect. And with Spotify Connect, you can sync to the cloud. You'll be able to connect any of the devices to control where your music plays, as long as it's got some sort of Wi-Fi connection. So there'll probably be new apps coming out. Maybe there'll be a Roku app coming out very soon, or an Apple TV app, or a Chromecast app, so you can play it up on your big screen. So you want to read more on that, go over to theverge.com. Like I said, the link will be in the show notes. Finally, over at arstechnica.com, if you bought an ebook from HarperCollins, Hachette, Simon & Schuster, any ebook that's been bought before December 6th, 2000, or no, not before December 6th, April 1st, 2010 and May 1st, 2012, then you might be eligible for a refund of up to $3.06. It was a class action settlement that was brought to the ebook publishers in a recent price fixing case. And the companies included were HarperCollins, Hachette, Simon & Schuster, Penguin, and Macmillan, comprised with Apple to keep prices pretty high. So if you bought a lot of ebooks, I mean, if you bought one ebook, $3.06, okay, that's a Egg McMuffin in the morning. But if you bought a lot of ebooks, like 20, 30, 40, that really adds up. So you can check that out. We got the link over at arstechnica.com to check that all out. That does it for this part of Geek Smack. We're going to get you into the main part where we're going to talk about Yahoo. Yahoo's saying goodbye to China. This is Yahoo, and China's going, no, wait. No, we're fine. Okay, bye. See you later. And Yahoo's going away. And we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about how and all that other good stuff. We will be right back. This is Geek Smack. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll be right back. You know, it's more than just 750 channels that the Roku can offer that gives you all that content. Each channel can have sub-channels in it, so you can have tens of thousands of hours of video watching and game playing out of your Roku. And prices only start at $49.99. Of course, the Roku 3 for $99.99, and of course you can get the games, you get the game remote as well, and then the privacy mode where you can plug in your headphones right in the remote. That's perfect for when your partner is sleeping, but you want to watch something on TV. Lots of great stuff, from Angry Birds to Amazon to Hulu, and of course the Tech Podcast channel. Let me show you this really quick. This is how you get to some of the content from Geekazine on the Tech Podcast channel. You just go into the Tech Podcast video, and you're going to go into Tech News, and you're going to find like the special events, iPad 365, Geek Smack, and a whole bunch more. A lot of other tech podcast shows right on that Roku for you, right at your fingertips, right through the remote. And then, of course, you can get your Netflix, you can get your Amazon, you can get your Hulu just as easy, and many more channels. PBS, we've got Redbox Instant, TV Guide, Sci-Fi Channel, and much more. Check it out. It's all over at Roku. Remember, geekazine.com/Roku. Of course, that helps me keep the lights on for all my shows. Thank you very much. And go over where streaming is made simple. Two weeks ago, I reported that Yahoo email was closing. Overnight, Yahoo actually took things one step further as they ceased news and community services, moving everyone over to Alibaba, or suggesting that they move over to Alibaba. This is showing that Yahoo, are they getting out of China, or what's going on here? Well, Yahoo decided to close their email services in China and port users over to Aliyun. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Also an Alibaba property. The email register closed on August 19th for Yahoo. You can't register a yahoo.com.cn email address anymore. Then you have until December 2014 to actually switch your email. So is Yahoo actually pulling out of China? Not necessarily. They're working their channels here, and this is how. Yahoo basically has a 40% stake in Alibaba. To compete with the giant is not always the best solution. In fact, Yahoo has been phasing out their presence in China since 2005 when the website was shut down. One of the reasons why the website might have been shut down was because of the bad name that Yahoo was getting in China. Now, if you don't follow my Day in Tech History podcast, coming up September 7th in 2005, Yahoo caused 2 journalists to be imprisoned because of Chinese law. This basically haunted Yahoo because it became a big, major case, and lots of lawsuits came out of it. By getting Yahoo out of there, they're saving the name. By Yahoo giving more traffic to Alibaba, they have a good chance of making a lot of money when Alibaba goes public, and that's expected within the next year. So the end result, it looks like Yahoo is pulling out of China, but has a lot of strong ties to be making a lot of money in the end. As long as those being forced to leave Yahoo actually move over to Alibaba and their services, then Yahoo is in good standing. And I bet you about 80 to 85% of people leaving Yahoo will switch over to Alibaba. Now, if you do live in China and you do watch Geek Smack, I know there's a few people in China that watch Geek Smack. Please let me know. Are you going to switch over to Alibaba? Are you going to do something different for your email if you had Yahoo, China's Yahoo email portal? Let me know. You can Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. And then 608-205-4378 is the phone number. Of course, that'd be 1+1, was it 44 to get to the USA? I don't remember the international code, but the whole point is 608-205-4378. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, that does it for this episode of Geek Smack. I hope you had a great time. I always have a great time giving this content to you. Now beard-free, epic beard-free, we will be back, like I said, next week. Depends on if I have to do some travel, but if we do have a show next week, we're going to have a big show where we're going to talk about the Apple event, and then I'm going to get into the regular show from there. So we'll see you then when it will be another episode of Geek Smack. Jeffrey Powers here. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. Follow me on Twitter at Geekazine or Google Plus or Facebook or wherever. And we'll see you next week where we'll all geek out once again. Take care. And that's the show. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Yeah, we do have a few people that are on the stream, so thank you very much for being part of the show. We appreciate it, and I'm glad you came over and you helped out and checked it all out. Like I said, next week we'll have the Big Apple show, and then of course we'll do Geek Smack right after the Apple event, and where it's all fresh in our minds and we know what's going to happen. Of course, new iPhone, Mac Pro will come out. iOS 7 will have a release date. Maybe some iPads. We don't know about the extra stuff. I'm guessing the iPads will be a month later, but we will know in the next 30 days there will be a new iPhone. There'll be a new iPad. We'll have a Mac Pro. I really would love to get a Mac Pro. That would be like a complete game changer in my processing. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching the live show over at youtube.com/Geekazine. Come back next week where we do it all again. You guys take care.